Aloha, friends and family, the time has come. Welcome to the reading of Our Cosmic Origin by Ismael Perez. And we're going to have the introduction read by a different starseed.
We are living in what externally appears to be troubled times, though in essence we are living in the most exciting times ever in the history of our world. Why? Because our world is in the process of returning to a golden age. A new heaven on earth is prophesied in all religions. Every ancient record believed in a time that the union of heaven and earth would come again. The signs are everywhere. The time is now. As flooding of higher information is pouring, which is the true meaning of Revelation or Apocalypse, as it stands, the angels have confirmed that the work of God's glory for the earth has already been completed as it is in heaven. However, what is important and central in the restoration process is learning to identify and adapt to the new energies, which are positively affecting and gradually transforming our world from within as we know it. As a result, our entire physical composition is shifting, therefore. It is important to understand how the universe works in terms of energy as rediscovered by our cutting-edge science. In fact, it is crucial that we get familiarized with this new higher resonating energy that is flooding our earth, acting as a catalyst that is beginning to vibrate a new structure, a new world, and a new reality. Based on our latest scientific discoveries, it appears that all manifestations are held together by vibrations. So if the vibration changes, then so do its form. This new frequency vibration is not only disintegrating the entire oppressive structure of the beast Antichrist system from its core, but is ultimately transforming our world, including ourselves, into this new, refined, and improved reality. In fact, there is now scientific evidence that reveals that our entire reality is held together by certain grid systems that are spread out like ley lines throughout the entire planet. It is these grid systems that resonate with the vibrations that hold together all forms, affecting all fields, including our electromagnetic and gravitational fields. It has also been discovered that for the last 30 years, a new grid pattern has been forming, and that explains why heaven on earth is gradually manifesting, as many are beginning to experience what is called a spiritual awakening. This spiritual awakening was prophesied long ago in the annals of time, and all religious traditions agree to this great unfolding event that will usher in the awaited seventh golden age of enlightenment. In exoteric terms, it is the establishment of heaven on earth, the millennium. In the esoteric wisdom, it is the beginning of the fifth root race that begins as we enter the first days of the age of Aquarius, which is indeed upon us. The ancient cultures believed that in the age of Aquarius, the earth and its inhabitants would be restored. The dark forces would be removed, and the new earth that is being shaped through the higher resonating energy would shine like a jewel throughout the heavens. It is my honor to say that this is the process that is now unfolding in these glorious times. One thing to understand about the shift of ages is that when a point of transition occurs, especially one of this magnitude that we are in the midst of, known as the Great Shift of the Ages, everything climaxes into a boiling point where it acts as a disintegrator for the old paradigm of the old unworkable order who is desperately trying to continue to exist, and a catalyst for the new paradigm that is forcing its way into a new order of reality. Since everything is energy, then everything is recyclable from one form of reality to another. In fact, more study into quantum phenomena is now confirming what shamans, elders, saints, yogis, and all spiritual saints and masters knew for millenniums. What happens in the outer material reality reflects what is going on in the energy field that permeates us all. Inner reality, morphogenic fields. Most importantly, what has been the greatest discovery is that we are all contributing to the collective energy field by virtue of a human vibrating energy field ourselves, as we are also made of vibrating resonance fields called chakras. As a result of these positive changes, mankind and our world as we know it is set for a major transformation that will absolutely change the basic fabric of our existence forever. In fact, many modern-day scientists and scholars from various fields of study are agreeing on the fact that major changes are taking place regarding natural phenomena both on Earth and in our solar system. In combination with the physical changes reported from science, there is also now solid evidence that has clearly supported the idea that our reality is shaped and molded by our minds. This is the same principle that has always been known by those who understood ancient wisdom. It is the wisdom that is now making its way into the limelight in preparation for the shift into the new reality structure. For example, what spiritual scientists, metaphysicians can now tell us is that for thousands of years, planet Earth has been vibrating in a very low density field, polarizing mostly to the negative side of the spectrum. This mass negative field produced mass negative consciousness, and it is what has kept our planet mostly in the Dark Ages. Well, unfortunately, by not fully understanding what shapes reality, mind, we have been contributing to that negative field by being trapped in a negative mindset with limited belief systems about our reality. Therefore, today, considering the new knowledge, we have begun to understand that as a man or woman thinketh, so shall his or her life be. In other words, since everything is energy and therefore vibrating, our thoughts, words, actions are also vibrating. And in understanding this, we can conclude that the vibration of our thoughts, words, and actions are attracting and creating our reality all around us in every second in time. This is now a fact, proven scientifically through the avenues of quantum mechanics. The good news is that we now have the collective power to end the old mass negative thought forms. By having enough people focus only on the positive, we the people thus have the power to contribute to the new, loving energy that is materializing a new heaven on earth. In truth, this fallen structure or negatively polarized reality was set into motion during the time of Atlantis, when the fallen angels took over the affairs of our planet. Yes, it has been revealed that civilizations have existed on this planet for perhaps what the Akashic records in higher dimensions, believed to be millions or even billions of years, as we shall soon see. In light of this, we could perhaps understand how a new energy field program that is now replacing the old one is depolarizing our world, but to the positive side, light, as a new reality sets in for those that are raising their vibrations to match the positive energies of love, brotherhood, and peace, is beginning to resonating with the new incoming frequencies that are manifesting the new reality structure. After the new age fully sets in, which is going to be precipitated by the coming of the host of heaven, beings from higher dimensions, only good people that prefer to live in a world of harmony, peace, and sisterhood, brotherhood, will be welcomed to partake of a new heaven on earth, as promised in the ancient prophecies of all sacred traditions. Therefore, the coming of heaven on earth is emerging by virtue of two things. First, since the mind creates reality, there are many people changing their personal fields into frequencies of love and compassion, peace, brotherhood, sisterhood, and cooperation, since we are all vibrating little micro-universes, considering that our existence is now scientifically proven to be holistic. Second is the fact that our planet and the entire solar system is being bombarded with higher frequencies, scalar waves from the center of our galaxy that is catapulting the entire planet into a higher state of vibration, consciousness, and being, which is gradually culminating into a whole new world structure. Scientists have furthermore connected these scalar waves emanating from the center of our galaxy with the phenomenon known as the photon belt. Of course, further study of planetary, solar, and galactic cycles, which have been developed by ancient wise societies, also back up what today's modern scientists are detecting. Today is also a defining time in which humanity can now utilize technology for the greatest benefit of all. It is the long-awaited moment where mind and matter bridge. Science and spirituality come together, and all opposites come to a resolution by virtue of discovering the interconnectivity and oneness of all. This is a time that mankind will completely understand and accept that we are not corporal beings, but light beings embodied or vibrating at an exceptionally low frequency. This low frequency produces what appears as a corporal vehicle, but even that is an illusion. That is, even our physical bodies are made of vibrating strings or oscillating energy fields, creating a low vibration of the electron flow in the atom, coalescing our vibrations into solid physical form when it is empty space. It appears, according to the esoteric wisdom, that we have other subtle vehicles that we cannot see with our eyes and are as important than what we see in the mirror. In fact, this secret spiritual knowledge reveals that these other parts of ourselves are our energy subtle bodies that we do not see, generate, and hold together the construction and form of our physical body. These energy body systems, which correspond with the planet's energy systems, grids, have always been understood and known by the esoteric, secret traditions of both light and dark brotherhoods. It is connected to the ancient lost arcane science of regeneration, immortality, and the development of soul power through the integration of these subtle energy selves. It is the core of all ancient wisdom, and it must be with further knowledge of our original essence as light beings and our ability to access our light body full awareness. Nonetheless, if we are to survive the coming shift in energy, we must begin to familiarize ourselves with this most ancient science, as many illuminated souls on the planet would agree that the whole point of this science is to integrate our material form with the other unseen parts of our self, in order to ascend our form into higher levels of awareness reality. We will also come to realize that our current form is the final extension of a long process known as involution, which is the great descent of light energy substance into various forms of matter, from subtle refined to gross physical form, which is the lowest vibrational state of matter. Equally important to understand is that change is part of the natural rhythm of the universe and should not be seen as a bad thing, for everything in the material universe is in perpetual motion and always changing in order to match its shifting energy vibration. The reason being is because there seems to be a constant process of descent involution and ascend evolution. Therefore, instead of being upset about the coming changes as we prepare to shift ages, we should be full of joy that we are going to be the forerunners of an exciting new world, and that have for long been prophesied. Again, let it be stressed that the times in which we find ourselves today are the best times to be living in, for there is no such thing as a doomsday. The only people that are having a doomsday are the wicked of low energy negative vibration. As for the rest of us, we will ascend, raise in vibration with our planet without tasting death, And as we become translated into a new vibration with a new modified exalted body of lighter density. The signs are everywhere. The time is now, and as we become more aware of this truth, that our world and everything in it is changing, we would need to be more receptive to the new frequencies if we want to partake of heaven on earth. And that is becoming real for various people from all over the world who are beginning to experience new joy as they begin to emerge with the new positive energies of Aquarius, the millennium. Those that are connecting and experiencing heaven on earth are those that are becoming receptacles to the new incoming energies. These are the people tuning to the higher energies and are consequently being uplifted, inspired, and empowered with the light of our Creator as more people are discovering what born-again Christians are beginning to refer to as the Christ within, which is enlightenment, atonement, or becoming one with the Christ, universal consciousness. These are the people that are becoming more whole and integrated, discovering a sense of inner peace as they begin to remember the connection to Source, which is light, which is represented by the Christ energies. By aligning to this higher vibration, they have adopted a better way of life, as many are beginning to achieve what is known as balance, purpose, and wholeness. Some are even discovering amazing abilities that they didn't know they had as the gifts of the Spirit begin to awaken in them. All these are but a few that are taking advantage of these transforming energies, and they are doing it by choice. They had decided that they wanted a better way of living and so acted upon it. That is the miracle that this new frequency is producing in our world for those that are beginning to believe and are acting. On the other hand, those that are not adapting to the new frequencies that is uplifting our entire planet are unfortunately going to leave our ascending world due to the lack of knowledge and information. These are those that have chosen to vibrate by the old pattern that is also at the same time disintegrating with the collapsing of the old electromagnetic field and paradigm structure. This explains the harvest of souls, the separation of the weeds from the grass. On another note, it is important to understand that this prison of spiritual ignorance was designed by the temporal powers of this world to rule us through our mind, emotions, and consciousness. An example of this was as we remember the dark European ages, which were brought about as a direct result of producing mass fear through the Roman litigate. The point is that thoughts and feelings are powerful generators of frequency. They mold and shape our reality as we begin to realize that we are co-creators of circumstances through these agencies. The powers of this world have always known this, and that is why this great secret of life known to us now as the law of attraction has now recently been restored for the masses to know and put into practice. Therefore, by changing our thoughts and emotions, we change our vibrations, circumstances, and that is scientific fact. It is well known that for centuries people, by default, have been emotionally and mentally trapped and controlled by the elite because they lack true knowledge of how our universe works. They have forgotten that like attracts like, and that all reality is created by mind and our emotion, and most importantly, they have forgotten their inherent connection to the divine, the source and center of all inspiration and positive living light and life. The time has come to break away and free ourselves from that old energy pattern of control through fear that only keeps us unaware and away from discovering our full potential, which is the harbinger of our happiness. In other words, by taking charge of our life, we create a greater opportunity to be happy. For we are only happy when things go in the direction we want, and since our thoughts and emotions are powerful electromagnetic generators that mold and shape our reality depending on where we direct the energy, our focus, we could individually begin to fabricate a happier life by willpower and choice. The dark powers of this world have not only known of these spiritual laws, but have acted on them at the expense of the masses. And that is why throughout all of history they have dominated the masses by keeping them in ignorance of the great power behind their thought forms and the way we choose to feel. All manipulation only takes place when vital information is withheld from the person being manipulated, for ignorance is the greatest weapon against a potentially spiritually awakened humanity. In truth, it is only when the individual really begins to learn and gravitate out of the current collective negative mass consciousness and adopts his or herself to the new energy pattern vibrating at a frequency of love, peace, and unlimited joy, will they break free from bondage and become receptacles of heaven on earth. In other words, we must become inwardly what we want to be outward, since the energy mind produces matter form. As we do that, we also become less vulnerable to mind control, and instead we become more independent, self-realized, which in turn leads to personal enlightenment and less dependent on external powers. The more we adapt to the new energies, we will begin to own and control our own destiny and reality, and begin to discover something within ourselves which would produce a fulfilled life, and that is a personal relationship with our Creator. In truth, that is the purpose of all humanity, to not only develop a personal direct relationship with the Creator Source, but to evolve into the image of our Creator. Since our living earth is ascending now, collectively we have been given a marvelous opportunity again to take a free ride. This is the great harvest of the season, when for the first time in our earth's history since the times of the fall, heaven will be lowered to earth for all time and all eternity. We are living in the most wonderful age, one that is recognized as the fullness of time. In review, let it be understood that there is going to be a split, as a loving, constructive, higher energy field is replacing the low energy field that has kept our world in spiritual ignorance for ages. In doing so, only those which are beginning to resonate with the new higher energy are becoming more real and rooted in the new earth structure. As for those resonating at the low frequency range of fear, anger, and negativity, they will be removed because everything in existence vibrates to a frequency in order to remain intact. Otherwise, it cannot exist if the pitch is not a match. This is the true meaning of the two men who are both working in the fields, and one man disappears while the other men stay at the coming of the kingdom of light. As we shift into the new frequency range on earth, we will be prepared to take our greatest evolutionary leap forward into our new reality structure, a reality that will restore us back into fully functioning sovereign human beings as made in the image of God. Now, before we prepare to take this quantum leap that will drastically change our world structure and reality forever, we must first become familiar with certain suppressed knowledge that the current powers of this world have for millenniums attempted to omit from all records. In this next segment, a whole new vista of knowledge will be unveiled that will help prepare us for what is coming. And what is coming is nothing more than the prophecies being fulfilled as we prepare to not only shift ages, but to partake of the new heaven on earth. It is time for all humanity to begin to know what many are discovering to be a multi-dimensional reality, marked by boundless freedom and unlimited possibilities. It is also time for mankind to know their true origins and purpose as made in the image of our Creator. Nevertheless, we will also come to find out that our universe is bigger than what we were told, and most importantly, that we are not alone in what our new science now calls the multiverse. By understanding our original cosmic origin, divine ancestry, the truth will once again ring clearly for those who are beginning to know that there is more to life and reality than what appears most importantly, as we later cover the subject matter of the photon belt and its relationship to the coming of the kingdom of light, the book of Revelation would be clearer.
Chapter 1. A new science has emerged. One of the greatest discoveries in the 20th century is quantum physics. With this new avenue of study, our scientists are slowly but surely tapping into the supernatural or metaphysical world of spirituality and higher realities. This new avenue only opened the door to a whole new way of understanding our world and the universe we live in, but it also validates the existence of a supreme being many call God. For centuries, and perhaps for millenniums, we were under the impression that everything in existence was mechanical, that life was a constructed machine and subject to decay or entropy, based on the understanding that only the tangible world exists. On the contrary, and as now rediscovered in the 21st century, the greatest and most controversial new scientific evidence is saying something else. This new evidence clearly reveals that indeed we live in a vast ocean of conscious energy, and that we ourselves are individualized units of consciousness. Therefore, everything is alive and conscious, from atoms to universes, as there is nothing mechanical about our existence after all. Scholars and scientists from various fields of study, ranging from neurology, microbiology, biology, cosmology, and physics, as well as from the social avenues, are all agreeing, according to the new evidence, that our existence is holistic, and most importantly, that it is infinite, without beginning or end, since all is energy, and energy could never cease to exist. The facts are now known that we are part of a bigger picture, and that there is a purpose to everything in life, that all conditions allowing for existence in space and time are following a cosmic blueprint, as if something beyond our current comprehension is weaving everything with exact precision. What is happening is that our science has rediscovered our connection with everything else, seen and unseen, and most importantly, that everything is interconnected, and everything else in this wonderful web or matrix of energy our new science calls unified field. The new physics is suggesting that everything in existence operates as a unit of one, and that what we thought was impossible is now possible. For instance, Einstein and other enlightened men understood that if we could decipher and figure out the theory of everything, then all of our world's problems would be solved, because we would have access to technologies that would improve our living conditions overnight. Ultimately, the deciphering of this grand theory of everything would scientifically and mathematically explain the existence of a universal intelligence known as God. Furthermore, it has also been confirmed that if we tap into a field of energy known as a zero-point field, we will extract unlimited raw power from a vacuum that exists in a higher dimension. Our science further discovered that this field of zero-point energy is not only generated by our sun, but that it also produced by all living things in existence as we participate and interact with it. This is the field where all energy exchange is taking place at the same time, in a dynamic vacuum that creates a vast, unlimited ocean of self-generating power. In other words, it is the sum of all the energy in existence, and it is equivalent to the central point of pure energy potential at its most underlying level. Apparently, we have arrived at the holy grail of physics. Without fully understanding the potential use of harnessing the power of this quantum vacuum of infinite energy potential, science calls 0-point field. This is the field that starts off as a singular force holding together not only the four fundamental forces, electromagnetic field, gravity, weak force, and strong force, allowing for a third dimensional existence, but also holding together the invincible forces that shape and mold our physical reality. This unified singular force field also holds together other unseen planes of reality that are currently not measurable by our third dimensional instruments. Apparently, our science has now indeed reached a point in our development where spirit and matter are once again merging, and we can begin to detect this by the newfound evidence. This new developing science through quantum mechanics and quantum gravity theory is asking for a synthesis of all fields of study and is providing evidence of a unified and bigger cosmos. For example, the new evidence is suggesting that everything in the cosmos is operating according to some grand mathematical equation, and that there is an inert, universal, intelligent impulse guiding all processes, as it is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, as described in the holy books of all religions. The more we tap into the theory of everything, we may conclude that what we consider science fiction is now perhaps a possible reality. If this is the case, then we are on the verge of being propelled into a new utopian advanced spiritual and technological age. The new evidence not only provides proof of a unified energy field that confirms that we are all one, but the most disturbing discovery is our established academia is the idea of multiple universes, multiple realities, and unseen dimensions. These concepts, along with others, have now become the greatest taboo in the established academic community. Nevertheless, the facts are now pouring in more so now than ever through the higher quantum avenues of quantum gravity, M theory, and unified field theory. And through these new fields, it has been and continues being confirmed that we indeed live in a multi-dimensional reality and that there are multiple universes. Along with that, it has been also scientifically proven that we human beings on planet Earth are only experiencing and perceiving perhaps less than 1/10 of our total reality potential. In fact, mainstream science has gone as far as stating that about 96% of our universe or reality is missing, and so they have labeled it dark matter and dark energy. Though what is more startling to the scientists beyond the dark matter and dark energy is that all realms intersect each other, yet we are only aware of a small range of multiple intersecting planes of reality. These dimensions are apparently beyond the measurement of a subatomic world and again are being measured through Newtonian mechanics, which only measures less than 1/10 of our total reality. No wonder our scientists cannot detect the 96%. Although some scientists had recently come up with the clever idea of using X-ray technology to pierce into the dark matter and ironically have recently detected colonies, civilizations, and evidence of life forms in the so-called missing matter using X-ray technology. However, nothing is new under the sun. It appears that our cutting-edge science is only rediscovering the truth about our multidimensional existence and the idea that there are multiple universes and endless worlds. For it has been recorded that for millenniums, saints, mystics, yogis, Gnostics, and shamans understood and experienced other unseen spiritual worlds beyond the five senses. Surprisingly, this wisdom of old is correlating to the new understanding of reality as provided by the new scientific data. The fact that these parallel realities and universes are all existing simultaneously, all independent of themselves, but through the 0 point field, are all interconnected with each other at the same time in the same space, is becoming more evident. The truth of the matter, and is understood in metaphysics, is that the reason why these higher, subtle, finer realms of reality are undetectable to the naked eye or scientific instruments is that they are vibrating at frequencies beyond the limited range of our infrared and ultraviolet electromagnetic spectrum. According to the new physics, our perception of what we call reality is apparently one wavelength in a greater spectrum of finer and greater realities, wavelengths, and electromagnetic fields. The proposition that our reality is one small range or wavelength of a potentially bigger reality, wavelength, or greater spectrum of light frequency is evident and needs to be further examined. Perhaps this is what Plato, the great Greek philosopher, tried to explain to his pupils in the description of the allegory of the cave. This understanding contradicts conventional physics. How can many parallel realms and dimensions exist occupying the same space all at the same time? The answer lies in the way television and radio work. If we think of how a range of different television and radio waves exist all around us, occupying the same space at the same time, then we may fathom how various ranges or frequencies outside of the range of our own ultraviolet infrared wavelength are able to coexist also at the same time. For example, radio and television frequencies exist all around us, yet they go right through us. It seems that the only time we interact with them is when we watch television or listen to a radio station, which casts as interfaces to those signals that seem to permeate the space all around us. So if we want rock music, we tune in to the rock reality frequency range station. If we want classical, we tune into the classical reality frequency range station. In that sense, we human beings also exist amid other reality frequency ranges higher than the infrared and ultraviolet range, which is one wavelength out of what science refers to as multiple wavelengths or planes of reality. This concept of expanding reality explains why our scientists could only perceive or detect less than 10% of our total reality potential, since more than 90% of our reality is allegedly missing. What seems to be the case based on ancient wisdom and risen new scientific evidence is that more than 90% of our reality exists but on different frequency wavelengths or dimensions, imperceptible to the naked eye or third dimensional instruments. Perhaps the so-called 90% of the missing universe, dark matter and dark energy, of our cosmos isn't as empty anymore as postulated and measured through Newtonian mechanics. On the other hand, it is more likely to be filled with life forms on different types of light vibrating matter as real as you and me. In fact, what we call solid third dimensional existence, frozen energy, is energy vibrating at an incredibly low frequency, thus making it appear solid when it's empty space. Since matter is congealed energy vibrating at its lowest frequency, then the unseen realities are also part of the same energy field but vibrating at higher and faster frequencies than the apparent third dimension. This notion implies that there are other pure forms of vibrating matter that are more refined and subtle, and since all is energy and whole, there is no separation, for everything is a manifestation of this one energy field source called the light. So, in that sense, we are all one and interconnected in an ocean of energy. However, we are only aware of the lowest vibrational point or tuned into only one radio, television frequency, channel/station out of what might be a greater range of frequencies and realities. It appears that modern day science has now tapped into the higher etheric and spiritual worlds but cannot explain them using Newtonian mechanics. With this new data, we are witnessing a coming revolution in science that will propel our world into the next phase of our evolution. For example, the concept of a universe is also being replaced by the reality of multi-universes. According to the latest discoveries in quantum gravity theory and M theory, our universe is one of many universes. Well, by applying the new physics and its concept of coexisting planes to a higher level, then we may begin to also understand how many universes are also intersecting one another, as they are all contained within the same space. This multiverse concept is slowly but surely gaining more ground, and soon it should be an accepted scientific fact. Indeed, we are amid another Copernican revolution, though on a planetary and galactic scale, that would propel our world into a golden age. Nonetheless, the idea of multi-universes has fascinated our cosmologists and physicists, who for centuries only held to the idea of only one single universe. For instance, the idea of living in a multiverse was suggested when astronomers and cosmologists discovered that space was indeed flat, not curved, as proposed by Einstein. This was the first clue in providing evidence that indicated that space was infinite and expanding at an extraordinary rate. The second piece of evidence came when cosmologists discovered a phenomenon known as quantum fluctuations and cosmic inflation. This observation indicated that universes, plural, are expanding at an extraordinary rate and away from each other. Most importantly is the revealing fact that what scientists refer to as the Big Bang is an event that is taking place every day. This tells us that the creation of new universes is an eternal process, always taking place for what might be an eternity. This notion of perpetual infinite creation would indeed imply that our universe is one of many numbers of universes, with other universes, while new universes are born every day. On a higher note, the evidence is also indicating that all these universes are being born from what might appear to be a mother universe, or what scientists call the metaverse. The metaverse, or mother universe, according to science, has never been created. It appears to their observations that the metaverse is infinite without beginning or end, and it is the source that is causing about 10 new universes to be born each day. We may imagine this motherverse to be like an umbrella unfolding and constantly expanding as it births new universes for what appears to be infinity. It is now apparent that our science has rediscovered what has always been known to the illuminated seers, and that is the truth that although there are multiple physical universes, there is only one spiritual mother universe that has always existed without beginning or end, exactly as explained by cutting edge science. With this new understanding, it is believed that every part of our cosmos operates as a unit of one, that in essence, all universes are like different parts of the same umbrella, all affecting each other, as they are all different holographic fragments of the same whole or metaverse. What is sure is that in these days to come, our scientists would have irrefutable, concrete data confirming and establishing the new revolutionary notion that not only are there other unseen realities, realms, and dimensions, but that our universe is one of many universes in an ocean of infinite space potential. Most importantly, the underlying field of energy, called by many names force, energy matrix, quantum singularity, chi, prana, spirit of God, or just simply unified field, will also be well understood as the one force in everything, which in turn will allow us to better understand the grand theory of everything. At this point in our world, we are indeed at the threshold like never before. A threshold that will not only ignite a new renaissance on a planetary level, but propel us once again into an upward spiral of spiritual evolution as we evolve higher into the image and similitude of our divine Creator. We are now becoming a spiritual race and culture, and therefore are about to take a quantum leap, never into what some more evolved scientists are calling an interplanetary system civilization. I think that was supposed to be like ever, not never. The new era has arrived, the seventh golden age that was not only prophesied in the ancient oracles, but also in our Bible is at hand. For a new reality has precipitated in our world, and the greatest dispensation ever bestowed upon mankind, and it is indicated by the coming union of science and spirituality, heaven and earth. And when we return, my friends, we will pick it up at chapter 2, the theory of multiple civilizations as proposed by our new science. And we leave you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Until then, my friends.